Sign 1. The first spark. When it all begins. It starts with a hit, an electric shock straight to the soul. One glance, one text, one touch. And suddenly, it's not just attraction, it's gravity. Your world tilts, your heart pounds, and before you know it, you're falling. Their name, a trigger, one notification, and your pulse spikes like a drug addict chasing the next high. You wait for their replies like oxygen. Every word they say feels like it was meant just for you. It's perfect. Too perfect. You replay their voice in your head. Their scent stays on your skin long after they're gone. You're not just thinking about them, you're consumed. A connection so intense, so all-consuming, it doesn't feel like love. It feels like destiny. And then, the realization. I think I really like them. Number, it's more. It's a rush, an addiction, an obsession in the making. But here's the thing about sparks. They don't stay sparks. They ignite, they consume, they destroy. So, is this the beginning of everything you ever wanted? Or the warning sign you'll wish you never ignored? Sign 2. The honeymoon phase, lost in the high. This is the part where love feels like a drug. Every text, every touch, every glance is pure electricity. You wake up thinking about them, fall asleep dreaming about them. The world outside, it barely exists anymore. You're glued to your phone, waiting for their message, rereading old conversations just to feel that rush again. Every second apart feels too long. Every moment together isn't enough. You catch yourself smiling at random moments. Love has wrapped itself around you, and you never want to let go. Slowly, without even realizing it, you start making small sacrifices. Plans with friends? Cancelled. Hobbies? Put on hold. You tell yourself it's just because you love being with them. But is it love? Or is it something deeper? You adjust your schedule, your habits, your priorities, all to fit them in. Their happiness becomes more important than your own. Their needs feel like yours to fulfill. And that's when love begins to shift. It's no longer just passion, it's dependence. But where's the line between devotion and obsession? And have you already crossed it? Sign 3. The need for more, when love turns hungry. At first, love felt light, effortless, a beautiful rush of emotions. But now, it's not enough. You want more. More time, more attention, more proof that they feel the same. A simple good morning text no longer satisfies. You crave long conversations, constant check-ins, little reminders that you're the center of their world. Where are you? Who are you with? Why didn't you reply sooner? The first hints of possessiveness slip in, disguised as care. You tell yourself it's normal. It's just because you love them so much. And when they do the same, you think, this means they love me just as much. Jealousy used to be a red flag, but now, it feels like proof of passion. You start noticing when they take too long to reply, laugh a little too much at someone else's joke, or seem distracted when they're with you. Your mind starts racing. Love isn't just love anymore. It's a craving, a need, an obsession growing inside you. But is this love or something much darker? Sign 4. The shift. Love or control. The first fight starts over something small, a misunderstood text, a delayed reply, a moment of distraction. But suddenly, it feels like everything is crumbling. The rush of love that once felt warm and safe now swings between intense passion and overwhelming chaos. 1 second, you're wrapped in their arms, convinced this is forever. The next, you're questioning everything, drowning in insecurity, needing constant reassurance. And that's when the doubt creeps in. You check their phone, just once, just to ease your mind. But once isn't enough. Next time, you look a little longer. Then, you start noticing things. Who's that texting them? Why are they online but not replying? The emotions become addictive, highs that feel euphoric, lows that feel unbearable. You convince yourself this is what real love is. Intense, all-consuming, impossible to walk away from. But something feels different. This isn't about love anymore. It's about who holds the power, who calls first after a fight, who apologizes more, who needs who more, and suddenly, love isn't about happiness. It's about who's in control. Sign 5. The isolation begins. Just us against the world. You don't need anyone else but me. It starts as a whisper, sweet and reassuring. Love should be enough, right? At first, it feels good, like a bond so strong that no one else matters. Plans with friends, you cancel because you'd rather be with them. Family events, you skip because they don't get your relationship. Little by little, your world starts to shrink. The excuses sound harmless. They don't really care about you like I do. Why waste time with them when you could be with me? I just don't like the way they talk about us. But the truth? You're being pulled away from the people who see what's happening. At some point, you look around and realize there's no one left. No one to call when you're upset. No one to check if you're okay. It's just them. And that's exactly how they want it. Love has turned into a cage, and you let yourself get locked inside. But now that you're in, can you ever get out? Sign 6. The red flags ignored. Love's biggest lie. The signs were always there. You just didn't want to see them. The jealousy, the control, the possessiveness. They weren't problems. They were proof of love, right? They just care too much. They're only like this because they love me. They'll change. Things will get better. You tell yourself these things every time a fight turns ugly. And there are a lot of fights now. Over texts, over friends, over things you don't even understand. But every fight ends the same way. Tears, apologies, and promises to be better. Passionate makeups that make you forget the pain. A high so intoxicating, it makes the lows feel worth it. The relationship isn't stable anymore. It's a roller coaster. Highs that make you feel alive. Lows that make you feel broken. Deep down, you know something isn't right. You know love shouldn't hurt like this. So why are you still here? Because leaving means accepting the truth. And that's the one thing you're not ready to face. Sign 7. The breaking point. Love or survival. It happens in an instant. A fight that cuts deeper. A word that stings harder. A moment that feels different. This time, they don't just raise their voice. This time, you see it for what it is. Control, possession, obsession. You stand there, heart pounding, replaying every red flag you ignored, every excuse you made. This isn't love anymore, is it? The realization hits like a gut punch. Love shouldn't feel like fear. It shouldn't leave you exhausted, anxious, walking on eggshells. Love is supposed to lift you up, not break you down. But then comes the internal war. Walk away? But you've invested so much. You've fought for this. What if leaving means losing everything? Hold on. But how much more can you take? You've already lost yourself. And then comes the most dangerous thought of all. Maybe I can fix this. But can love be saved when it's no longer love? Or is this the moment where you finally save yourself? Sign 8. The escape. Love's final battle. Leaving isn't just about walking away. It's about untangling yourself from something that once felt like everything. At first, there's fear. The what-ifs flood your mind. What if I overreacted? What if they change? What if I was the problem all along? Then comes the guilt, the apologies, the desperate messages, the "I can't live without you, please." It's tempting to believe them, to go back, to rewrite the ending. But you don't. Not this time. And then for the first time in forever, freedom. No more walking on eggshells. No more explaining yourself. No more being trapped in a love that wasn't love. But why does it still hurt? Because obsession doesn't just disappear. It lingers. In the way you hesitate before speaking. In the way you flinch at certain words. In the way you still crave their validation, even when you know better. The scars aren't visible, but they're there. Love twisted into something toxic doesn't just leave, it takes a part of you with it. Now the real question is, can you rebuild what they broke? Sign 9. The aftermath. Healing or haunting. Just because they're gone doesn't mean they're really gone. Their voice still echoes in your head. The texts you almost send. The photos you can't bring yourself to delete. The memories that creep in when you least expect them. Love shouldn't feel like withdrawal. But here you are, stuck between missing them and knowing you can never go back. Then comes the hardest part. Learning to unlearn. Unlearning the habits, the fears, the constant need for reassurance. Realizing that love isn't supposed to hurt. That trust isn't something you have to earn back. That you are not who they made you believe you were. And yet, a terrifying thought lingers. What if I never feel this way again? Because for all the pain, the fights, the tears, it was intense, addictive, a high unlike anything else. And that's the thing about obsession. It makes real love feel too quiet, too calm, too easy. So the question isn't just, can you let go? It's, do you even want to? Sign 10. From like to obsession to self-love. It started with a spark. It burned into an obsession. And now it's time to heal. Looking back, you see it clearly. Love should never feel like a prison. It should never make you shrink, question your worth, or force you to beg for the bare minimum. Real love doesn't break you. It builds you. But the scars remain. The hesitation before trusting. The fear of falling too hard, too fast. The old voice in your head whispering, what if it happens again? And yet, something else grows alongside the scars. Strength. You start to rediscover yourself, the you that existed before them. The one who laughed without fear, who made choices without guilt, who knew their worth. Happiness no longer depends on a person. It's found in small moments, in freedom, in knowing you survived what once felt impossible to escape. And when love comes again, real love, healthy love, you'll know. Because this time, it won't demand your soul. It won't ask you to choose between them and yourself. This time, you won't mistake obsession for love. Because now, you know what love is supposed to feel like. Conclusion. Breaking free and finding real love. Obsession disguises itself as passion. It starts as something innocent, excitement, love, connection. But before you know it, you're caught in a cycle of control, insecurity, and emotional chaos. You ignore the red flags. You excuse the toxic patterns. You hold on because the highs feel so good. You convince yourself the lows are worth it. Until one day, they're not. Walking away from obsession isn't just about leaving. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about unlearning the idea that love should be painful, all-consuming, or a constant battle. Real love doesn't drain you. It doesn't isolate you. It doesn't demand that you give up who you are just to keep it alive. Healing takes time. The scars don't fade overnight. You'll second-guess yourself, miss the intensity, even wonder if you'll ever feel that rush again. But here's the truth. Real love won't feel like a high. It will feel like home. One day, you'll love again, but this time, differently. This time, better. Because now, you know what you deserve. And this time, you choose yourself first.